All right, welcome everybody. Happy Wednesday. Here we are again, rainy Wednesday. My thought for you that I am contemplating last couple of days this week is this two things, it's sort of related. Is in yoga, we are told that we have the experience. There's a part of our mind that is considered the witness, right? It's called the witness consciousness. And this is the part of our mind that is not the emotional part of our mind. It's not even the logical thinking part of our mind. It's the part of our mind that is able to simply observe. And even the thought of that is a little bit weird, where, if you can imagine this sort of narration of your life that was completely non-judgmental, that was completely devoid of any attempts to make meaning or any attempts to explain or any attempts to add anything except to the basic story of what's going on, the basic relaying of events, is that this is what the witness consciousness, it says, is that's what it does, is that it lives in, or it is the experience of this completely non-judgmental space, right? And that's a little bit difficult for us to understand because our mind we're so used to it being an interpretive function rather than an observing function. So that's the number one, is that we have this part of our mind that is considered the witness, that is that quality of non-judgmental ability to perceive things or to see things exactly as they are without trying to make any meaning out of it. It just sees, just observes. The other concept that we have is called Darshan. It's a word that basically means to see or to be seen. And it's usually used in reference to being able to see a holy person. So if you have the opportunity to sit with a guru, or you have the opportunity to have like a divine vision, we call that Darshan, right? Is that I'm seeing something that is holy, or I'm seeing something that is illuminated in that spiritual sense. And my thought is that as we go through our lives, is what would happen if you started to look at yourself, right? That observational ability of your mind is to look at yourself in your life as though you were seeing it through Darshan, right? As though you were practicing Darshan with yourself, right? That you're actually looking at the experience that you are having, the experience of who and what you are as a holy being, right? And if you're thinking like, no, that's not possible, go back and look at the lives of some of the people that we consider to be the gurus and the saints and the, holy people that have been elevated, is that their lives are full of suffering. Their lives are full of ridiculousness. Their experiences are full of mistakes, are full of decisions that, again, human beings, we have to go through those things. And yet we elevate them and are able to see them as this experience of what is holy, right? So what would happen if you started to try to do that with yourself? If you actually looked at yourself with that part of your mind that, again, already knows how to be judgmental, if you said from a completely non-judgmental point of view, can I see this experience, this embodiment as holy? And how that might change your relationship to what's going on, how that might change the way that you even view yourself, right? Because so much of, I think, what we struggle with is that our internal experience is never seen by anyone else. Right? They see our actions, our reactions to that internal experience, but they don't see what's happening inside. They don't see that beautiful matrix of all of our qualities, right? Only we see that. So if you are turning eyes on that and saying, this is a holy experience to look at that and to know that even those messy moments are part of what makes a saint, right? Is that maybe we can touch a little bit more that feeling of real self-love, right? Of real experience of wanting to be this person that we are, wanting to be this embodiment that we are. And through that, we start to really uncover that depth of the soul that is within every single one of us, right? The light that's within every single one of us. So the practice, right? We start with that non-judgmental part of the mind and say, can you just observe yourself without judgment? And also, I would say, then can you turn those loving eyes on yourself and say, if this is a holy experience right now, right? Can I see the saint in me? Can I see that there is that possibility in me? We start to create that loving relationship from inside, and that's what, again, spreads out into the world around us. But that concept of being seen, see yourself for what you really are. Right? Instead of judging, it's this way or it's that way, or it shouldn't be this way or it should be that way. Can you just see yourself completely for just a second, just observing, and feel like that's a holy experience to just observe yourself? So comfortable seat if you're not already there. I've been loving this concept that you don't have to jump to observing to loving. You don't have to say, because I am told that I should love what's here, is that I have to make myself feel that. You don't. But let your eyes close and observe. And as we step away from the instinct to judge or the instinct to categorize, is what steps into that space or flows into that space might be much friendlier than you expect. But start with the observation. That you're actually just breathing, inhale and exhale. And whatever your day has been so far, whatever your week has been so far, your year, your life, you observe the place where you are rising to meet those experiences moment by moment, because it's not the events that make up your life. What makes up your life is that energy that continuously rises to meet the outside world moment by moment. So can you see that flow of energy as something holy? That even though you've been through what you've been through, and we all have our stories and our struggles and our challenges, everything that you've been through, you get up every day and you rise again. It's a holy experience. That here I am with my fear and my grace and my beauty and my awfulness and my everything. And observe it. Call this like the panoramic view. Maybe you relax a little bit because there's no need to get rid of any of it. You're just here to practice. So just observe. That's your whole job this class, is to just observe. Try not to go into the story. Try not to go into the explanations. Observe yourself, Darshan. Like watching a nature show. One more full breath. And as you exhale, bring the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm. And we'll open sound of Om, deep breath in. And let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. Switch the cross of your legs if you've been sitting cross-legged. So just change so that the other shin is in front, the other foot is in front. And then reach for the knees so you're staying seated. Then just circle your torso. Just move the spine first. Again, keeping the pelvis as settled as you can. So again, you're allowing that to stay and you're just moving the spine so you get that low waist to start to loosen up. Good. And then change your direction, move the other way. As I said, when I'm in a state where I am moving through things, as I tend to go, you get whatever's coming out of my brain dealing with my own stuff. That's what I end up teaching on. So this concept of being seen, I think, is a big one, because so many, I think, of us, slowly bring yourself back to stillness, please. Move into that cat-cow movement of the chest coming high on the inhale, exhaling, rounding back and in. And I realized from my own experiences how much, when I was young, I really wished that someone could really see how I was feeling, or they could really see what I was going through. And they never did, because I was very, very good at presenting something different. And most of us are. Right? We're very, very good at presenting something on the outside that does not represent what's happening on the inside. And so I just have these memories of really wishing that someone would have seen through the mask, right? Someone would have seen through the presentation and say, I see what's happening inside, or I see you. So it sparked that concept of the darshan of I see you, I see this holy image, and that's what uplifts me. And if we look inside and we see that same holiness, then yeah, we're going to get up every day and we're going to be the best damn self that we can be. But if we look inside and we're like, oh, gross, we're going to keep running and hiding. So to make that a holy experience, to see yourself, how brilliant and beautiful it is that you've come through the struggles that you have, even if you think you did a terrible job doing it. Good. Come back to stillness, please. Take the hands back behind your head, elbows wide. And then you're keeping your chin level with the floor. So don't look up, don't look down, but keep your chin level. Press your head back into your hands so that you feel again like you're using the strength of your neck. Good. So press the hands into the head back into the hands. And hopefully you start to feel already like, oh, there's my shoulders. Draw your rib cage in, drop into your seat. Good. And then start to squeeze your elbows forward alongside your ears, like you're going to touch the elbows together, but they probably won't. Good. And then keep this pressure of your head back into your hands, widen the elbows again. Don't let your ribs pop forward. So just pull the elbows wide. Good. And then bring them forward again, squeezing in. Good. And then bring them out and wide again, keeping the head nice and level. So the shoulders are dropping away from the ears. One more time, bring them forward, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Good. And then bring them out wide. Nice. Keeping the ribs in. Good. Last time, bring them forward, pause just at that point where again, you feel like you still have that muscular energy of squeezing, and then drag the tips of your elbows. So instead of pointing them up at the ceiling, drag them down, like you're pulling your arms back and into your shoulder socket. Good. Keep your head pressed back into your hands. Good. So Nancy, don't let the chin drop. Keep it up. Good. And then maintain that. Start to lift your collarbones up towards the ceiling. So take it into that back bend. Good. Hugging the inner elbows and pulling the arm bones down into the shoulders. Good. Chest up, navel in. One more breath. Rotate, heart to the sky. Good. And then come all the way back up to center. Please stretch the arms all the way up alongside your ears. Pull, pull, pull. Shoulders up to your ears. So squeeze up. Good. And then release the hands. Give them a shake. Arms a shake. And then come forward onto hands and knees. Nice, Mark. Good. So that's your little simulation, right? If you're not going to do full wheel pose, that little, back work with the arms is a good start. Good. Come into downward facing dog, please. Tucking the toes, lifting the hips. Good. Pedal your feet. So again, letting the knees soften, letting the hips sway from side to side, if that feels like a good idea. Good. Nice. And then start to steady the heels back towards the floor. Please start to walk your feet forward towards your hands. So coming all the way to a standing forward fold. Good. Separate your feet just a little bit wider. So as wide as your mat, maybe toes facing straight ahead. So a little bit wider than your hips. And then right hand is going to touch down straight in front of you. So don't reach for the ankle. Take the left arm up to the sky, spinal twist. Good. So you're just keeping that right inner thigh lifting nice and wide, right low belly nice and wide. Good. Nice, you guys. And then keep the arm up, but take your gaze down towards your right fingertip. So instead of looking up, look down, and then draw that left shoulder up a little higher. So twist a little deeper from the arm bone, not your hand, not your wrist, from the top of your shoulder, lift up towards the ceiling. So you're lengthening that space between the left shoulder and your head. Good. And then release that hand down to the floor, please. Go to the second side. So left hand plants right arm up to the sky. And again, if your instinct is to look up in the twist, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. So you let yourself go there. Good. Keep your left low belly nice and wide. Awesome. Nice, Beth. Good. And then keep the arm lifted, but take your gaze back down towards the floor. So again, you're changing that stretch on the neck. And then that right arm bone, so at the very top of the arm, is reaching up towards the ceiling. So it's not so much that you're bringing your hand further back, but you're bringing your arm bone up. Good. Really nice. Awesome, you guys. Release that hand down to the floor, please. Good. Heel toe your feet a little bit closer so that they're right underneath your hips. And then bend your knees, drop your seat nice and low. Walk your hands up onto your thighs. Good. Cat cow in chair pose. So with the hands on the knees or the thighs, start to move your spine again. Good. Nice, you guys. Letting the hips stay back behind the heels. So you're not letting your knees come forward, but your butt moves back. Good. Belly up off of the thighs. Nice. Good. And the next time you round, stay there. So round your back, pull the belly up and away, drop your hips just a little lower. So again, the back is rounded a lot, but you're dropping your hips deeper into that chair pose. Good. Let your chin drop towards your chest. Good. Let your shoulders move wide. Beautiful. Nice. One more breath. Take your butt back even more, round even more. Drop your tail, lift your hip points. There you go, Anastasia. Good. And then come all the way, roll up to stand, please. So keep the head dropped as long as you can. So as you start to come up, again, you're stacking hips over heels and then rib cage and then shoulders and then throat and then head. Awesome. Good. Bring the right knee up and towards your chest, please. Squeeze it in. Good. As you squeeze that knee in, send your left thigh up and back. So your butt moves back just a little bit. Good. Take the right thigh all the way over top of your left, wrapping the inner thigh and the outer shin. Bend your left knee, dropping into eagle pose. Good. So again, butt goes slightly back behind your heels. Good. Keep your shoulders up as vertical as you can. And then stretch the arms out wide. Left arm over top of right. Wrap the arms. Good. And again, if you're not doing a full wrap today, then just cross the arms or even take the hands into prayer position would work too. Good. So Lauren, right thigh over left if you can. There you go. Yep. All the way over. So the knees are on top of each other if you can. There you go. Yep. And then bend the knees again. Good. You can always put a block underneath that right foot too if the balance is really super tricky. Good, you guys. One more breath. Draw those armpits back and in. Nice, Anju. And then slowly release. Come all the way out. Be as dramatic as you'd like. Good. And then plant the really nice, Anastasia. Good, Mark. And then come to stand just for a moment. Set your feet. Good. Hips width apart. Stack your spine. So find that softening behind the knees. Take the tops of your thighs back. Feel the lift of your hip bones up off of your thighs. So you're trying to make that space where your quads are softening down, but your hip points are rising up. Tailbone is dropping. Good. Rib cage softens in. So the back of your rib cage should get super wide. It's going to feel almost like you're rounding your back. And then draw your collarbones up a little taller and just draw the armpits wide. Turn your palms forward and let your hands separate from the sides of the body. Good. So don't try and bring them back behind you. Bring your hands forward so that they're in the same line as your hips. Good. And now draw your low rib cage in again and feel that widening of your collarbones. Like think of those Jesus statues, right? Where he's got his hands out like that. And you're looking kind of for that. Good. Collarbones up. Pull through the crown of your head. Good. And then inhale the arms all the way around and up to the sky, please. Good. Exhale, bow forward. Take the hands down to the floor. Good. Step your right leg back behind you. Drop the knee. Good. Use a blanket there if you'd like. Inhale the arms to the sky. Anjaneyasana. Good. Turn your palms forward. Hook your thumbs together and then bend your elbows out nice and wide. As your elbows bend, pull your chest up taller from your rib cage. Good. And then now you're pulling up through your spine, but let your hips go forward. So front knee moves towards a little beyond the ankle even. Good. Pull those ribs in. Nice, nice, nice. And now keep this feeling of the wideness of your back. Start to stretch the arms all the way back up to straight. Pull again through the sides of the waist. Deep breath in. Good. And then exhale, release the hands out and down. Both hands come inside the front foot. Good. Walk towards that upper right-hand corner of your mat. Do some circles with that hip. So just move your pelvis. Good. Nice. And then slowly come to stillness, please. Dropping yourself just a little deeper in. Maybe you drop down to your forearms or onto blocks. And again, if staying on fingertips is where you need to stay today, stay on your fingertips. It's perfect. And Diaz, you're just giving the pelvis a chance to settle. In our physical postures, it's such a different, I think, way to do it than what we typically do, is to actually hear your body speaking through the poses. So it's not your mind saying, I'm going to get my body to do what I want it to do, but to actually come into a position and have your body say, this is how I feel, right? Is that there's an emotional component to our physicality, right? That they're intertwined with each other. And so when we say things like, hey, your hips talk to you, they sure do. And not just by telling you that they don't like a muscular position, but there's feelings that are wrapped up in this experience. So that witness part of our mind is where we can start to say, well, here I am physically, but also here's what else is in this moment. One more breath, soften the place behind your heart that you didn't realize or didn't think about that you were gripping. Good. And then walk yourself all the way back up, please. Good. Lift that back knee, step back to downward facing dog. Nice. Deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then walk your feet forward towards your hands again. Feet underneath the hips. Good. Bend your knees, drop your seat, walk your hands up onto your thighs. Cat, cow, and chair. Good. Again, letting the weight of the hips be slightly back behind the heels so that you're actually engaging more through those glute muscles. Good. If the knees start to come forward of the ankles, as you're going to do a lot more work in your quads, tops of the thighs. Good. Nice, you guys. Try to get your whole spine to move. Yeah, all the way down to your tail. Imagine that you have a tail, that you're not actually stopping at the base of your pelvis, but that you're actually wagging your tail, or you're actually moving the, length of your spine even beyond the end of your tailbone. Good. Come to stillness, round your back a lot, please. Good. Nice, nice, nice. And then keeping the head drop, start to again roll up the spine one vertebra at a time. Good. Looking for that feeling of stacking the hips over the heels without pushing the pelvis forward, finding your ribs stacked over your hips without pushing the ribs forward, and finding an openness through your upper chest without squeezing so hard behind your shoulder blades. Good. Nice. And then take your left knee up in towards your chest. Good. Squeeze it in. As you squeeze that knee in, your right top thigh goes back. So push your butt back in space. There you go. And then cross your left thigh over top of your right, wrapping the legs for eagle. So the knees come in line with each other. And then you're bending your right knee a lot, and you're pressing your shins as close together as you can. Again, they might not touch, but that's what you're angling for. Good. Drop low. The lower you drop with your knees bent here, the more stable you're going to be. So go low. And then stretch the arms out wide. Right arm comes over top of left. And again, you really want to bend the knees here. You want to get that sensation of folding through the thigh creases, so front of the pelvis. The lower you drop into this, the more opportunity there is to actually stretch your hips and your lower spine. So if the balance is the trick, right, you can always put a block underneath that right foot, the foot that's stacked on top. Good. But go low, even lower, Beth, even lower, Mark. Bend your knees, even lower, Lauren. Go, go, go. Andrew, you look great. Good, Anastasia. Good, Joanne. Nice, you guys. Nice, Nancy. Take one more breath, dropping through your pelvis, like you're stretching your spine. Good. And then slowly release, come all the way out. Nice. And then again, plant your feet. So again, when you come out of the pose, is you tend to just go into whatever your frantic fidgety mode is. So set your feet, come back to Tadasana, stack your hips over your heels, soften your knees. Good. And then feel that your low rib cage is in line with your hips. You have your hip points drawing up, your tailbone dropping, and then palms face forward, move them slightly wide, but in line with your hips. Don't take them back behind you. Keep them in line with your hips. Good. So you're finding this feeling of drawing the low rib cage in so that pressure comes out of your middle back. And then your collarbones rise up as the arms reach out wide. Top of the head pulls straight up. Good. Nice. And just maintain that for a moment. Again, witness, it's hard to stand neutral. It's incredibly difficult. Even if you think you're neutral here, I can see where, I would push you a little this way or move that a little this way. Don't worry, as you're finding your own internal sense of what neutral is, what happens when you move away from tension, when you move away from where you are stuck. Good. One more full breath. And then stretch the arms up alongside the ears, please. Reach out and up. Good. Exhale, bow forward. Take your hands down to the floor. Good. Step the left leg back behind you. Nice long lunge. Drop the knee. Anjaneyasana. Inhale the arms up to the sky. You can use a blanket underneath the knee if you need it. Good. Again, turning the palms forward, hook your thumbs together and pull, right? So the hooking the thumbs is so that you can pull wide and then bend the elbows out wide. Good. Pulling the chest a little taller, ribs in. So again, you're constantly looking for how can I take that pressure out of that lower edge of my shoulder blades. Good. Chest goes a little higher. Let your pelvis go forward a little more. So you're going deeper into that lunge and then start to stretch the arms all the way back up to straight. Keep pulling the thumbs against each other though. So you have that resistance on the outer armpits. Good. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. That's it. Nice, Nancy. Nice, Mark. Nice, Anastasia. And then slowly release the hands all the way out and down. Good. Take both hands inside the front foot, please. Walk towards the upper left-hand corner of your mat. Circle your hips. Good. So again, I'm having you do all of the shoulder and upper back stuff that usually really helps me feel like there's more space to breathe back there. So if that's not happening for you, just remember that the strength, the energy that you put into your arms, into those resistance positions, you want it to translate down into your back. It's not about the strength of your arms, but it's can I activate the muscles of my back by pulling through the arms? Good. Slowly come on back to stillness, setting that knee in line with the second or third toe. Go ahead and let yourself drop down a little lower if you'd like, onto the elbows or onto blocks, or again, stay exactly where you are. Trying to keep your hips in good alignment so that your pelvic bones are both facing towards the top of your mat as much as they can. So even though you're angled, your torso is angled slightly out to the side, try to keep the pelvis as far oriented towards the front of your mat as you can. Good. Yeah. And again, interesting to observe just where your sensations are, where your emotions go to, where your thoughts go to in different poses. And then to step away from that story, right? To notice where it's going, but don't follow it. And say, what else is happening here? And can I really see myself, not just what I'm able to do or not do, but can I feel my effort? Can I actually feel my willingness or my resistance to doing what I'm doing? Can I actually feel what I hope to get from this practice, how I want to feel and how I'm afraid to feel? Can I actually see all of that without judging it? Because that's really what's happening right now, right? It's not just that you're doing a pose, it's that there's all of that mixed into it. Is this is what I want, and this is what I'm afraid of, and this is what I'm doing and I'm not doing, and what about yesterday and what about tomorrow? Like there's so much going on. And can you actually just see it for a moment? How beautiful your effort is. Whether you succeed or not makes no difference. How beautiful your effort is. One more breath, soften behind the heart. Yeah. And then walk your hands all the way back up. Good. Lift that back knee and then step back, downward facing dog. Good. Bring yourself forward to plank pose, upward push up. Bring the feet together, inner thighs together, and then roll onto the baby toe edge of your right foot. So Vasisthasana. So right arm holds you, roll onto the baby toe edge of the right foot. Take that left arm up to the sky. And again, can you feel here those armpits pulling towards the center of your heart? So it's not the arms pulling in, but it's literally those shoulder blades hugging around your rib cage. Yeah, so pull your waist a little higher. One more deep breath, open the chest. Nice. And then release back to downward facing dog, please. Deep breath in, deep breath out, and then set up for the second side. Come forward to plank pose, feet together, thighs together, roll onto the baby toe edge of your left foot, left arm holds you, right arm to the sky. And again, push into that left hand. Good. And feel that left arm get super strong, pushing the floor away as you pull up through that left armpit. Nice. And keep the legs super active. Good. Throat back, Lauren. There you go. Yes. Good. And then slowly release back to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, knees to the floor. Come back to child's pose. Let the knees go wide, big toes together to touch. Drop your hips back to your heels. Good. There's something about the witnessing. And said we cultivate that part of our mind so that we can see things as they are. And by seeing them as they are, we can release our fears about what we assume something might be, or that we keep thinking that something might be that we don't want. So we're asked to cultivate that. And then if we see ourselves as we really are, it said we'll see others as they really are. Because we're no longer looking for them to fit into our way of being, is we're looking at things simply, this is what's here. And that's a holy experience, to just see what's here. Go ahead, take one more breath. And then walk yourself back up onto hands and knees, please. Press back, downward facing dog. Good, take the right leg up and back behind you, down dog split. Good, bend the knee, kick your heel in towards your butt, stack the right hip on top of the left. So Joanne, switch your feet for me. So you're on the right foot. There you go. Good, one more breath, really lift that inner thigh. Good, and then point that knee down towards the floor, please. Bring it forward towards your nose, round your back, bring your armpits forward over your wrist, squeeze everything in. Good. And then look slightly forward, step your right foot between the hands, lunge. So again, you're engaging that hip flexor, pull it forward. Nice job. And then inhale both arms to the sky, high lunge, please. Good. Nice. Reaching overhead, interlace your fingers, point your fingers to the sky. So like you've got a little cowboy gun. So again, like you're squeezing the upper arms towards your ears and then pulling up through your side waist. So again, let the shoulders come all the way up to your ears, pull up through your whole side waist. Good. And then go ahead and again, lift those collarbones up towards the sky. So you're starting to come into that back bend feeling from the top of your pelvis, lift up. Good. Just widen that front knee a little bit, Nancy. Good. Yep, you got it. Nice, you guys. Let your pelvis go low, but lift your chest high. Good. Collarbones wide, arms back, throat back. Good. Now keep that feeling of back bend. Bring your arms out wide, cactus arms. So 90 degrees. And then spin those inner elbows forward. Let your palms fall back and heart to the sky. Good. And then from your navel, bring yourself all the way back to upright. Stretch the arms straight alongside the ears. And then exhale, hands down to the floor inside the front foot. Good. Circle that hip with the back knee off the floor. Good. Nice. And then come to stillness, please. Knee is over the ankle. Walk your hands straight ahead, still inside that front foot. Lizard pose. So keep that front knee as much at a 90-degree angle as you can. So knee over the ankle, thigh paralleling the floor. Up on your fingertips, your arms are more extended here. Look forward. So your collarbones go up. Everything extends, and pull your hips back. So it's like you're trying to bring your hips into down dog, but at the same time, you're trying to pull your collarbones forward into a perfect plank pose, right? Good. Front knee over the front ankle. This is one of the keys to lizard pose, right? Is to keep that front thigh parallel to the floor. Good. So your pelvis has to drop slightly, and then you really work at lifting that back thigh. Good. One more breath. Soften behind your heart. Lift those collarbones. That's it. And then walk your hands all the way back in, please. Step your left foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight, Vadakanasana. Use blocks under the hands if you need. Good. Yeah. And absolutely, poses like that should feel like a lot of work. Extending the spine is actually a lot of work. Surprisingly, standing upright is a lot of work, evolutionary wise. That's why there's not a lot of animals that do it. Not a lot of biological beings that do it. It's really hard to stand upright. And even just right there, can you see yourself for what you are, this miracle of creation? And you're like, oh, I don't know that I'm a miracle. You are. Just the fact that you exist is incredible. How beautiful your effort is that you put into your life. And even if you're like, oh, I've never given my life my all, that's okay. You still can. Right this second, you can. And I think there's an encouragement there, you know, even when we're young and someone sees what we're doing and they give us the encouragement that says, just keep going. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to do this. You don't have to succeed at that. Here's what you can do. It's perfect. It's great. So we call the Darshan, right? As I see the holiness. How beautiful is my effort. Good. Bend that front knee, step your left foot forward, both feet underneath the hips. Bend your knees, drop your seat, take your arms up alongside your ears, chair pose, Utkatasana. Good. Bring the hands together at heart center, please. Prayer twist, right elbow to the outside of your left knee. So you're twisting to the left. Good. Nice. Pressing the palms together again. Feel as though you are lifting that left arm bone up towards the sky and drawing your thumbs towards the center of your chest. That's it. Nice, Nancy. Good. Come back to center, please. Don't change the legs. Twist the other way. Left elbow to outside of right knee. Good. Try not to let that left knee slide forward of the right one. Keep them in line with each other. Good. Anastasia, hug those knees in just a little bit. There you go. Yep. Good. And then again, you're lifting that right arm bone a little higher, throat back, really feel, oh, here's the length of my spine. Pull your butt away from your head. That's it. And then release the twist, hands to the floor, straighten the legs and bow. Nice, you guys. Good. Step your right leg back behind you, left leg back, plank pose. Good. You could jump also if you want to, but step back, plank pose. Good. Lower down slow all the way down to your belly. Rise up into Cobra, lift head, neck, and chest. Good. Nice. And then again, can you feel that squeeze of the armpits drawing towards the center of your back? Exhale, release back down to your belly. Here's where you really know if you feel it, is keep your hands where they would be for Cobra, but lift them up off of the floor. So no hands, but you still have that sensation on your upper back. So you're still dragging back on your hands and now start to lift up into Cobra, head, neck, and chest, no hands on the floor. Good. Feel how much you are pulling through your neck. Drop your chin towards your chest. Pull up through the back of your throat, but even better, feel that line that goes straight down into the back of your heart, literally rising up like that snake energy from your spine, and pull back on your hands, even though they're not touching anything. Yeah. And then slowly release. Nice job. Good. Press back, downward facing dog. If you need to come through hands and knees or child's pose for a breath before that, go ahead. And then back in downward facing dog. Take your left leg up and back behind you, down dog split. Good. Bend the knee, kick your heel in towards your butt, stack the left hip on top of the right. So again, opening through the pelvis. Good. Trying to find that long line from your left armpit to your left hip. Good. And then point the knee down facing the floor. Bring that left knee forward towards your nose. Armpits come over your wrist. Good. Again, pulling everything forward. So pull your thigh forward as much as you can. Keep it as high as you can. And then lift your gaze slightly forward. So again, getting that upper back open. And then step the foot between the hands. Lunge. Good. Inhale, both arms to the sky. High lunge. The back knee stays off of the floor. Good. And again, interlace your fingers, point your fingers to the sky. So you have this sense of pulling through the arms from the armpits, right? From the chest, and even better, all the way up through your side waist. Just pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Good. And then let your front knee go forward over the ankle, deeper into that lunge, kick your back thigh higher, and then start to draw your armpits back. Take your collarbones facing up towards the ceiling. Good. So as much as you are drawing those armpits wide, you're still reaching through your fingertips and squeezing the upper arms, and then lean back even more, chest up, chest up, chest up, chest up, like you're doing camel pose, or you expect to again touch the wall behind you, and then let that front thigh come forward again. One more breath. Pelvic bones tilt up. Good. And then navel to spine, come all the way back up. Release the hands down to the floor, both hands inside the front foot. Good. With the back knee off the floor, circle your hips. Good. And it can be a very sticky place, that middle of your back or space behind the shoulders, behind the heart. It can be a very sticky place, the emotional places in you that every time you pass by them, it's like pressing on a bruise, right? It hurts. So you jerk your hand away and say, okay, I won't touch that. Good. Come back to stillness, please. Knee over the ankle. Walk your hands straight ahead, still inside that front foot for lizard pose. So the arms are extended forward. And then lift your chest up. So again, it's like you're trying to find the whole length of your spine. So you're not rounding in any particular place, but your pelvis is dropping, knee over the ankle, top of that back thigh lifts up, inner thigh lifts up. Good. You're pulling your hips back and up in space, and you're lifting your chest forward and up in space. That's it. Really good, you guys. Nice, Joanne. Good, Anastasia. Good, Lauren. Excellent, Nancy. Good, Beth. Beautiful, you guys. Walk your hands all the way back in. Nicely done. Good. Step your right foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight. Vadakanasana. Again, use blocks underneath the hands if you need. Setting that right hip to spin forward so your left hip can pull up and wide. Have even a moment where you can say to yourself, I see you. You know all of your secrets. Again, you know what you've been through. You know all of the places in your life where you have done things you didn't think that you should have done, or you've said things that you wish you hadn't said, or you know all of your secrets, all the stuff where, oh, I didn't tell the truth here, or I didn't do this, or I didn't do that. I know what a bad guy I am. But do you know what a good guy you are? You actually see that they're one and the same, that every mistake, every challenge that you've had is building that capacity to see the beauty of what you are. Look inside and say, this is a holy experience, Darshan. Observing myself first without judgment, and then allowing that non-judgment to become whatever expression there is naturally arising. But just to see it is a big deal. See it without boundaries or walls or categories. Good. Take one more breath, really feeling the stretch of the pelvis moving back, soften behind the heart. Good. And then bend that front knee again, please. This time, step yourself back to downward facing dog. And again, slide yourself forward to plank pose. So armpits come forward over the wrist, lower down slow to your belly. Come through knees first if you need. Rise up into Cobra, lift head, neck, and chest with that feeling, again, as though you are doing this without your hands on the floor. Can you feel your back? Yeah. Nice. Good. And then slowly release, please. Press back downward facing dog. Good. And then take your right leg up and back, down dog split. And then bring that right knee forward and wide, pigeon pose. The right knee goes towards the right wrist. Good. Beyond the edge of your right pelvic bone. That is the requirement. Good. And then sliding the left leg back again, turning the pelvis so that your hip points stay in line with each other, right and left. So they're not off kilter, they're in line. Good. And then staying upright. So if you have blocks and you want to place your hands on blocks, you're welcome to do that. But I want you to stay upright. So you can tuck your back toes if you need to. Good. Pressing into your front shin. Nice, nice, nice. Looking for that vertical length on your spine. So as your seat drops, even just a little bit, round into your back here. So hands on touching something, round into your back. Round, round, round. So you're dropping the shoulders, dropping the head, round. Yep, like you're doing cat in pigeon pose. Good. You might have to readjust your pelvis to do that, but round. Good. So do the opposite, Anastasia, round your back. You're like, what? There you go. Yeah, because I really want you to get into that feeling of taking the pressure out of the part of your back that is always in tension or that's always stuck, right? Take yourself out of that. Good. And then see if you can start to stack your spine again here, again, using blocks underneath the hands if you need. So without letting the pelvis fall forward back into that arch that you just came out of, keep that little roundness in your lower spine, start to draw your rib cage back, press into the hands or blocks, start to lift through your side waist. And again, you might not be able to come to complete vertical. That's okay. but just find where you can be in this upright position without that automatic into your lower back. Collarbones nice and wide. Nice. Good. And then if you feel awesome here and you can maintain this length on your spine, go ahead and take one hand or both off of the floor. If as soon as you bring your hands up, your lower back arches a ton and you sink into your pelvis, don't do that. Stay lifted. Good. Beautiful. Really nice, Nancy. Good, Joanne. And then release the hands. Nice, Mark. Good. Lift that back knee, please. Take your right leg up and back behind you, down dog split. Now that whole time you didn't get to come forward at all. Good. Release the foot to the floor, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And then take the left leg up and back behind you, down dog split. Good. Bring that knee forward and wide, pigeon, second side. So bring the knee towards the left wrist. Good. Again, sending that right leg back just a little bit, but again, resetting your pelvic bones so that they are in line with each other. Good. So this is key. If you're going to be vertical in pigeon, you have to have this connection where the front leg and the back leg are pulling towards each other. So if we just go into that feeling of split, is we've got no base to really work off of, right? Our internal core muscles have nothing to pull from. So you want to keep your pelvic bones in line. You want to keep that feeling of drawing the shin and the back leg towards each other so that you can pull up through the lowest part of your spine. Good. Nice, you guys. And then you're staying upright. So again, blocks underneath the hands. Fantastic. And then start to round into your back. So round into the shoulders, round, 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 dropping through the tail. Good. So you take yourself out of that feeling of tension that you are probably so used to in your back that, again, you don't even see it anymore. It doesn't even register. So take yourself out of it. Good. And then from there, see how much you can start to stack your spine. So keeping that roundness in your lower back, start to walk yourself up to where, again, those ribs can maybe come over the hips, maybe not. They might still be in front of the hips, but you have this sensation of trying to keep this fullness in your back instead of collapsing forward. Good. And then you have that wideness of your collarbones. You have the length at the back of your throat. And then again, if you feel awesome here, take one hand or both away from the floor and see what happens. Arms can come out wide again, that little, Jesus moment of having the arms out wide. Good. Reaching from the heart. And I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody with that reference, but it's the, visual that you can feel, right? Open arms. Good. Rib cage, draw in, pull up taller. That's it. Really good, Mark. Nice, Nancy. Good, Lauren. You got it. Good, Joanne. Nice, Beth. Don't look too miserable. And then slowly release the hands, please. Good job. Lift that back knee up. Step back, downward facing dog. Good. A deep breath in. Deep breath out, drop down onto hands and knees, and then go ahead and circle your hips either direction, just moving the pelvis a little bit more. Good. Go the other direction, whatever way you chose, go the other way. Nice. And then go ahead and find your way back into child's pose, taking the knees wide, big toes together to touch, hips back to your heels. And again, feeling here where that lowest part of your belly is actually drawing up off of your thighs so that you can really widen through the space of your sacrum. And to allow that part of the mind that observes to actually watch the way that your logical thinking mind and your emotional self do the dance that they do. The interesting thing about observing is that you can watch yourself as you scoot away from this truth, or you scoot away from that feeling, or you scoot away from, what you really want to do because you're going to do the thing that you always do, or you're going to do the thing that someone wants you to do, or that you think that they want you to do. You can watch yourself play this game. And even in watching it, instead of watching it and being like, oh my God, what is happening in there? Is to just see it and say, oh, your effort is so incredible. Right? The effort to actually be in that mind and this body. It's incredible, right? This is the Darshan, is that your humanity is incredible. We see ourselves as a holy experience. We don't have to run from it anymore. Walk yourself all the way back up onto hands and knees, please. Stretch your right arm out wide to the right. Slide that arm behind your left wrist, thread the needle, right shoulder reaches towards the floor, walk the left arm forward towards straight. Good. Again, pressing into both shins equally so that you are still finding twist through your spine here. You're not just leaning onto that right arm, but you're actually finding active twist. Nice. And then keep that right arm where it is. Take your left arm up to the sky if you can. And again, if that's uncomfortable pressure on the neck, then leave the left hand where it is. So Beth, stay in the position. Just take the left arm up to the ceiling. So you're reaching up. Good. Turn that palm to face back and then bend the elbow, reach around to find your outer right hip. So you're taking a little bind with that arm. Good. And again, for me, this gives me a lot more reference with what my shoulder is doing. So open that left side of your chest even more. That's it. Good. It's perfect, Lauren. Nice. And then unwind the arm, please. Now bring yourself all the way back up to hands and knees. Good. And find yourself going the other direction. So the left arm goes out wide, slide behind the right wrist, turn your gaze, walk the right arm forward. And I say the witness consciousness is our key to being able to feel that, again, space that is without judgment. It's interesting. You always say that if we saw a tree that was growing crooked in the forest, we wouldn't go up to it and say, "What is wrong with you? Why couldn't you have just grown straight?" Right? We wouldn't do that. We'd say, "Wow, how awesome it is that this tree grew the way that it did in the conditions that it did." We'd say the brilliance of nature, right? And then we look at ourselves and we're like, "Man, why can't you just be completely different than you seem to be?" Same as that tree. Can you really see yourself? Take that right arm up to the sky, please. So you're still in that twisted position, but take the right arm up, turn the palm back, reach around, find the outer edge of your left hip. Good. Keep pressing into both shins. Try not to let the hips sway out of alignment. So Beth, watch that right hip hasn't pulled forward. Pull it back and wide. There you go. And then again, you're lifting up through that right side of your chest. So not just the arm, but the whole side of your chest opens. Nice. Good. And then slowly unwind the arm, please. Come all the way back up onto hands and knees. Awesome. Downward facing dog. Good. Right leg comes up and back, down dog split. And step that foot forward between the hands, lunge. Good. Drop the back knee. Use a blanket if you'd like. Anjaneyasana. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Good. And so again here, get into that feeling of pulling up through your side waist, getting super, super tall, up through the lowest part of your belly, and then stay just that lifted, but drop the arms down alongside you. Again, almost that Jesus position again, palms facing forward, give yourself a little space, and then pull that chest up towards the sky. Keep pulling it up, 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 up. Let your pelvis move forward, deeper into the lunge, pull up through your low belly, and start to let yourself lean back so that your fingers almost drip to the floor, right? That's the way we say it. So as the pelvis moves forward, you still pull up through your spine, collarbones go up, arms are wide, and just let them hang. That's the thing, is it doesn't matter if you touch the floor, but feel that whole lift of your spine. Good. And then bring it in from your abdominals, navel to spine, stretch those arms all the way up to the sky, reach tall again. Yeah. And then release the hands down to the floor. Awesome job. Lift your back knee, step or jump your feet to the other side. So again, you can jump switch or step switch. Good. Anjaneyasana. Good. Dropping the back knee, taking the arms up to the sky. Good. And again, pull up first. You get that feeling of real extension or real lift through your side waist. And again, that comes from squeezing the legs towards each other. So don't forget that part, that you're still squeezing the front heel and the back knee towards each other. Get taller. Then start to let the pelvis move forward just a little bit more as you pull your collarbones up, 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 up. And then let the arms just drop. So again, you're letting go of that weight of I've got to keep my arms up. Instead, you're just reaching through the crown of your head, through your collarbones. The arms just reach towards the floor. Good. Again, slightly forward with the hands. So you're not pulling them backwards, just slightly forwards. Good. And then the chest goes higher. And as you bring the chest higher and higher and higher and lean back more and more and more and let your pelvis go to where it's capable of going, one day your hands just might touch the floor. Your heart might also touch the experience of God. Don't run away from that. Good. Navel to spine. Pull yourself all the way back up to upright. Stretch your arms up to the sky. Nice, Nancy. Good, Joanne. Nice, Beth. Good, Mark. Good, Anastasia. Lauren. Release the hands down to the floor. Awesome. Lift the back knee, please. Step back, downward facing dog. If you need that second down dog split, because we didn't do it on the second side, take your left leg up and back behind you. If you don't care, don't bother. Good. There you go. And then release that foot to the floor. Come down to hands and knees, please. Good. Come to sit on your butt. Bring the bottoms of the feet together. Felt like I would throw it in there just to let you know that I realized that we didn't do down dog split on that second side. Vadakanasana, bottoms of the feet together. Good. Let yourself walk forward any way that you would like. So if you like holding your ankles, hold your ankles. If you like having your arms out in front of you, let your arms be out in front of you. Good. As you come forward, let yourself find where you are able to feel the wideness of your seat. So it's like you are gently trying to push your sit bones back and wide. And at the same time, you are trying to find this reaching from the lowest part of your waist. So you lean forward from the lowest part of your waist, top of your pelvis. And then soften behind the heart. Good. Beth, move your right rib cage a little bit wider. So you're slightly, it looks like you're slightly twisted. It could just be the way your shirt is falling. Yeah. Yeah, so just check that that left shoulder isn't falling backwards more. Maybe spin it slightly more towards the front of your mat. Good, you guys. Last breath, feel yourself press into your seat, round your back. Yeah, last breath, press into your seat, round your back. And then slowly unwind. So again, bringing yourself all the way back up, stacking. Awesome. And then go ahead and bring yourself onto your back. So move yourself, move the body that you're in, come onto your back. Good. Bend the knees, plant the feet. Good. And then set your arms, robot arms, please. So the elbows are bent, fingers pointing up towards the ceiling. And as you push down into the upper arms, I want you to imagine that, again, your mat has like walls. So as you're pushing down, you're also pushing slightly wide so that you feel, again, this awakening of the upper shoulders, upper back, right? You feel those muscles kick on. Good. So keep that. And then go ahead and from the back of your heart, feel the lift of your chest, lift your hips up as well, come into bridge. Continue to press down and slightly wide through the outer elbows. Good. Good. Don't let the knees splay wide though. Keep the knees drawing in. Yep. Awesome. And then again, from the back of your heart, you feel that drawing in towards the center of the back and the lift from behind your sternum. Good. And then drag back on your heels like you're going to take your butt towards your heels and then take your sternum, your collarbones up to your chin, up to the crown of your head. So do both of those. That's it. Yeah. And suddenly if you're like, oh my God, bridge pose got difficult. Now you're really finding your back. Good. Slowly release, please. Unwinding yourself. Good. And then keeping the feet planted, knees where they are. Change the position of the hand. So actually take your elbows pointing up towards the ceiling, plant the hands alongside your ears. So you're not coming into a full wheel, but I want you to pretend that you are. And of course, if you want to come into a full wheel, you can, but I want you to just play here. And even if you're on fingertips, if the palms can't be flat, that's okay. Separate the hands a little wider if you need to, away from the ears, and then start to bring those elbow tips, again, squeezing them towards each other, almost like you did in the beginning of class. So you're drawing those elbow tips in as you keep those fingertips reaching for the floor up above you. Good. And you want pressure there. So you're pushing the fingertips or the hands into the floor as you hug those elbows slightly in. Now try and drag those elbow tips down towards the floor. So your arm bones pull straight down into the floor and keep those elbows hugging towards each other. Yep. Don't let the elbows fall all the way out. Keep them squeezing up towards the ceiling. I know it's a tricky thing. So if you're not usually doing wheel, this might be the reason why, if your arms don't like this position. Good. Squeeze the elbows towards each other, push into your fingertips, and then drag those arm bones down to the floor as well. And now feel that lift from the back of your heart. Good. Nice. And then slowly release the arms, please. Stretch the legs straight out in front of you. Good. Take the feet towards the bottom right-hand corner of your mat. Stack one ankle over the other. And then move your shoulders towards the upper right-hand corner of your mat. So again, curling into that C shape. Good. Arms can come overhead to hold opposite wrists or elbows. And again, if you need to do something else with the arms because being overhead does not work for them, that's fine. You just want that angle on the side waist. Good. Hey, Darshan, why do we run to those holy images? Especially if it's an embodied person, right? It's a guru, it's a saint. Why do we run to them? I think because we want to really believe that someone was able to get past all of this nonsense that we all feel going on inside. We say, oh, they can do it, so I'm going to bow at their feet, or I'm going to elevate them. But then if you turn around and say to your own human self who is walking the exact same experience, and maybe not in the details, but you're doing the same living experience that they are, you say to yourself, well, you'll never be that. That's the part of the judging mind that we step away from. And what happens if you just step away? You just observe and say, the effort that you put into your life is incredible. It's amazing. Even if that effort is just holding yourself together. The amount of effort it takes to stay in dysfunctional patterns is incredible. We don't think of it that way. We're like, oh, it's not healthy, but you do it. We do it. And it takes a tremendous amount of energy to do it. Your effort is beautiful. And the part of you that wants to be well, that wants to be holy, that wants to be whatever it wants to be is beautiful. And the part of you that resists that and says, no, I'm going to run the other direction is beautiful. So you see yourself just as you are, as all of those pieces mesh together. But you're an energy that rises into the world day after day after day, breath by breath by breath by breath. And that's beautiful. Bring yourself back to center, arms wide, legs wide. Just for a breath or two, big letter X. I'm sure there are other ways of transitioning out of that pose, but I don't care what they are because I like this one. And then find your way going the other way. So taking the legs to the bottom left-hand corner of your mat, again, crossing one ankle over the other, moving your shoulders towards the upper left-hand corner, reaching for wrists or elbows overhead. And still trying to find where the back of your rib cage and the back of your pelvis is still settling towards the floor. So try not to roll on towards that left side. Darshan, the same way that you would run to a saint and look at them with loving eyes for what they have accomplished, what they have succeeded at, the living experience, right? You turn those same eyes on yourself that's willing to be excited about what you've done, even if you're like, not where I want to be. Doesn't matter. You see yourself as a holy experience. That's the darshan. And even if you can't quite get there, can you just let yourself be observed? Observe yourself and say, wow, I really try hard. Or I really feel a lot of this. No judgment. Sometimes just a simple acknowledgement that this is what I feel means that that feeling suddenly has a different relationship, a different grip, different meaning. We don't know until we look. But don't look with your regular eyes that want to pick yourself apart and tell you how terrible everything is. Look with the eyes that say, if this is a holy experience, I'm observing the life of a saint that doesn't know that they're a saint yet. They haven't gotten to that part of the story. So who were they before they were a saint? Right? One of my favorites is that it is one of the greatest Buddhist saints, greatest Buddhist teachers, that before he was a saint, is he was a murderer, gang leader, marauder. They even say a dark magician, right? He dabbled in everything that you shouldn't. Became one of the most celebrated, greatest Buddhist saints. The Darshan. See the holiness in your experience. And if you can't quite get there, just observe it without judgment. Slowly release, coming back to that big letter X again, unwinding the legs, unwinding the arms. To see and be seen. You are the only one that knows the true depth of your goodness and the true depth of your struggles. So you have to see it. And slowly bring yourself back to center, please. Bending the knees, planting the feet. One more bridge pose, set the arms however you'd like, either into robot arms or straight arms are fine. If you want a full wheel, go for it. And then pressing into the feet, pressing into the upper arms, feel the back of the chest rise and lift the hips. And nice, Joanne. Good. If you are, whatever position you are in, especially wheel though, hug those inner knees towards each other. So again, you don't collapse in the lower back. Nice. Full breath, feel the wideness of the chest. And then slowly release one vertebra at a time. Pause for a moment, let the arms reach alongside you, palms up. And then draw the knees in towards your chest. Could come into a final spinal twist if you'd like. So the easiest one is to just scoot your hips over to the left, drop your knees to the right. If you want to wrap the legs in that twist, you're welcome to. Good. And find your way back to center, please. And then scoot your hips over to the right, dropping the knees to the left. And find your way back to center one more time, hugging the knees in, bring your forehead up to meet your knees, hug, squeeze, roll on your spine just a little bit. Good. Like how some of you are barely moving and some of you are like rolling all the way up to sit. Good. Slow the movements, please. Again, giving yourself one last hug. And then go ahead and stretch the legs out in front of you, arms alongside you, palms up again, finding your Shavasana in maybe again that open Jesus position. Love the image though, right? The arms completely open, extensions of the heart. And then you just let yourself go into those parts of your mind that do what they do, that are just thinking. just remembering, just going through the emotional ups and downs, telling the story. And see if you can just bring your awareness to what is just beyond that. So it's as though you're expanding your attention into the space just beyond the thoughts. A mind that is just observing. Eyes that have no judgment. Very gently bring the awareness back to your breath. Letting the body begin to stretch and move, whatever ways serve it well. And as you're ready, draw your knees in towards your chest and roll to your right side. And take a moment before you begin to push the floor away. Come back to an upright seated position. And bring the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm. So the Darshan is when we look to see that image of what is holy. And if we look with the intention of seeing what is holy, as we can see it anywhere. That's one of our teachings, is that you can look at that tree and see a beautiful creation. You can look at the ocean and say the magnificence of nature. You can look at anything and say, what an incredible experience to be in this world. To do the same thing when you observe yourself. You look at yourself and you say, what an incredible experience to be in this world. And to see yourself from the inside as this holy experience of all of your joys and your sorrows and your challenges and your triumphs and your effort. That's what makes it beautiful, is that you are an energy that is rising into the world over and over and over again. With everything that you've been through, you continue to breathe. It's magnificent. Magnificent act of creation of nature. See if you can observe yourself from that place where you are not judging the things that happen, but you're instead seeing yourself as that effort that's moving through your life, and however it's gone or is going, you acknowledge that your effort is beautiful. Start with that. And close with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week. Until I see you again. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy.